Welcome to the Go Gettas podcast where we help we're going to say today, bring you away. I am Colby.
And I'm drinking cola, and your mom has Ebola. But you can call me Fee.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. I'm just spitting straight facts right now.
Look, if I'm wrong about this, I'm not.
Here's the thing. Like, I want to believe that if somebody said a quippy rhyme and everybody's mother's got Ebola, that nobody would be able to trace it back. But I've seen Death Note. I feel like someone could do it. There's one guy out there who'd be like, I don't know, they were all listening to this one podcast. Oh shit, we're in a simulation.
Oh fuck. Having quips turn into reality is my superpower.
That's bad.
That's I know, with the things I say.
Wasn't it like, isn't there someone in One Piece whose devil fruit power is like, oh yeah, you can say, oh no, it's a Hunter x Hunter where somebody's Nen ability is like, yeah, any poem that you write comes true, but he's just really bad at writing poems.
You would think with that power they would like hone the ability, right?
That they get good.
They're just like, well, this is my power. I'm not gonna get any better. I just hope it works out.
My pockets are empty. I want to be rich. Damn it! I can't think of anything.
I found your mom in a ditch.
Damn it! Not enough. I gotta workshop this.
Listen, if I had this power, I'd be like God tier.
Yeah. There's a lot of superpowers out there where they're like, oh yeah, I mean, the most probably well known is Green Lantern, right? Like Green Lantern has the power to like basically make anything. Doesn't have infinite energy, but may as well have infinite energy. But all the time, he's like he doesn't pick like optimal solutions, and he isn't like. He's not going as far as he could go, which is why there's so many stories about like, man, I wish Batman was a Green Lantern.
Well, I mean, Batman was a lantern for a while.
He was. He's a very sick lantern.
I think he did. Did he have all the? Did he have all the rings? Right.
He had all the Infinity Stones. Yeah.
Yeah, and what? Shut the fuck up for a minute. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he totally did.
Goddamn wrong IP, you son of a bitch. Yeah, Batman's done it all, but like Green Lantern, his like solutions are always like, I'm gonna fighter jet. Mm-hmm. Oh no, big boxing glove, baseball bat.
Yeah,
like it's nothing, nothing extraordinary. It's just stuff that like. He never thinks outside of the box, and he lives in space.
Yeah. Like,
he knows alien tech, he's met gods, but oh no, he can't think. It's all about his willpower and his, like, thoughts.
Yeah.
But, excuse me, I'm drinking cola, as I said
Stop
earlier.
it!
H-E-B cola, baby. And like I said, it's just, he doesn't do it. And it's not Hal Jordan's fault. It's the writers.
Listen, if Hal Jordan, I don't know if you know this, is a fictional character. He is a product of writing. So, like, it's both his fault and the writer's fault.
Well, yeah, that's true. But, like, I mean, if he can materialize anything, like, I think all of the problems in the world would be solved if he was just like, I'm materializing kryptonite. Or I'm materializing, I don't know, Batman's parents, and I'm going to simulate their death again.
Hell yeah.
To kill them. Or
yeah.
Like, if he would do all of this, like, there would be no reason for anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked it up. Batman has wielded a power ring, at the very least, green, yellow, white, and black. So, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, he was in the zombie army when the Black Lantern was the thing. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Not Nightfall. That's Batman's story. I forget, but like when the Black Lantern was bringing up all the superheroes that died.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good story. I need to read it again. It's been years since I read it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stories with DC that have sort of a twist on like power fulfillment stuff, which is like really interesting. Where they're like, oh yeah, what if I don't know, what if like Batman's parents came back, but they came back because I don't know, they were
Bruce died.
Yeah, because Bruce died.
Bruce died, so Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne, became Batman, and his mom became the Joker.
Yeah, which is sad.
Yeah, it's a sad, but
That's
like
a good one.
That's a good one. But like, you never see an outcome where like they all died and Alfred became Batman.
Yeah, hell yeah.
like, I haven't seen that story, but I really would like to read that story.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, like, how would he become Batman? Like, everyone dies and then he runs to the estate and does the same thing as Bruce, but he's just older.
Yeah. He's an old Batman that just has to be extremely smart. He can't go in and beat the shit out of 40 criminals or whatever. Like he can't Bruce his way through stuff. He has to have a lot of traps. And he probably like Alfred Man kills people like every once in a while. It's probably not like on purpose or he's not like going out for bloodlust, but he's like, I have to kill this guy. Like I can't get into this building without this man being dead.
He's on the ropes against the Joker, and he's like, you forget one thing, Joker. And he's like, what's that, Batman? What's that, Bat Brain? I mopped the floor this morning. And he pushes him, and he slips into a vat of needles.
Yeah, Alfred with his patented bathtub full of needles that he left at the bottom of the stairs. The whole fight, he's been slowly working his way over to the stairs. Like, yeah, come on, come to the needle stairs.
Well, like, they're fighting in the needle factory. I mean, it's not so far off. Gotham has weird shit.
That is true. Yeah, every once in a while, they're just like, oh yeah, this is the Gotham hazardous chemical plant where we make poison. You're like, wait, what? Why?
It's unsanctioned, but we're allowed to.
But it's fine. The government said it's cool. The Court of Owls gave us a thumbs up.
What are we using these chemicals for? What were they using those chemicals for?
Man, who knows? It's impossible to tell.
Just to make Jokers. Just
make just a bunch. They're just making a bunch of Jokers.
Like it's when you hear it, you're like, okay, because like there's chemical plants around here, like that are used to make like plastics and chemicals and stuff, but not like factories with just open vats of green fucking acid chemicals.
Yeah. The fact that there's no lids on any, like, Gotham City is a place that loves chemicals. Can't find a lid to save its fucking life, though.
OSHA hates going to Gotham.
Yeah, OSHA's like, I don't even know what the point is. We find them like $200,000. They just keep coming up with the money and telling us to go away. It's crazy.
It's like, and the worst thing is they have like catwalks above the vat.
Yeah. Just to check on the vat, make sure it's good.
Like I want to know if there's like a real life equivalent to something like this, because there can't be. There just can't. The fumes alone, if people are walking above them, would make people like suffocate.
Oh, for sure. But the thing is, like, it's never as serious as like, oh yeah, you fall into the whatever and you just like your acid consumes your whole life. But in real life, it's like, oh, you fell into the cotton gin and you just get smushed to death in the cotton, or like
you suffocate in the grain.
Yeah, somebody like had a cough at work and just like spit into a big vat full of ice cream, and now everyone has listeria. Like that's the kind of shit that we deal with.
Yeah, like fucking someone in Gotham going to the doctor, sir. I've been having these pains lately. I work at the Gotham acid factory. Oh, sir, you got stage 4 terminal cancer. I should have figured.
You know what? That's on me. I should have known.
I've been working above them vats for 20 years. Makes sense.
They just keep getting more acid. It's crazy.
Oh man. But anyway, enough of this Batman talk.
Yeah, listen. All right, this is an episode in which I'm going to admit to you, I'm very excited about having watched something, and Fee and I are going to talk about it in great length and all of the stuff that goes into it. So you just buckle up. If you like Blade Runner, sit your ass in the fucking chair and get ready.
Do you like Astro Boy?
You like, well, yeah, it's fine. If you like Astro Boy, it's maybe a plus. But today we're talking about Pluto, baby.
Yeah, it's Cole had been watching this show for I don't know, a week or two, right? And like he'd finish like an episode or two and he'd be like, "Oh boy, this fucking show," and I'm just like, "Okay, whatever," And then like every time he would say it, and I'm like, "Oh God, oh fine, I'll watch it." And then like I saw the whole, like I binged it all at work and one episode at home.
Hell yeah!
And you know what? It's a great show. I recommend anyone to watch it. You don't even have to be a fan of anime to watch this show.
Honestly, it's like a really good... I mean, just like with a lot of stuff with this guy's work, like it's really good at exploring a bunch of like human themes and has like a lot of really good characters, but it's also got like an interesting mystery that's very good at hooking you. We're going to talk about it without spoilers to start off with, and then we're just going to get into deep spoiler century. So like, get ready.
You know what one of my favorite things about the show was? That it's not entirely in Japan.
Yeah.
Which all animes are just like all Japan, but like we start off in like Germany, and we don't go to Japan like centric until the end.
Yeah.
Which is very good. And even the main character, he is not Japanese. He is German.
Yeah, he's a German German cop. So you follow his German cop adventures.
He works for Interpol basically.
Yeah, Europol.
Europol.
Yeah.
Gesicht.
Okay. It's hard to pronounce his name. My wife was like, "How do you pronounce his name?" His name is Gesicht, which I've been pronouncing Gesicht.
I pronounce it Gesicht.
That's that's valid too. Who knows? I have no idea. They named this man and we're like, "That's good. That's good that we named that." And then I'm sure that like later on the writer was like talking to his editor or something. They were like, "Oh yeah, I was just wondering on this panel, whatever Geshugugush," and he's like, "No, it's a I actually haven't thought about how to pronounce it out loud. Goddamn, crazy."
Son of a bitch. Gesicht. I'm just gonna call him Gesicht.
Yeah, sure.
Gesicht. We get introduced to him at the beginning, and he's, oh man, how can I describe him? He's very European.
Yeah.
he is a tall white guy with a very high hairline, blonde hair, and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Very German, very European.
Yeah.
And you can't tell by looking at him, but he is in fact a robot.
He is very forthcoming about that fact. He's I'm a robot detective, a robot cop.
Yeah, but like unless you ask him, he doesn't say it immediately unless like, not if he's prompted, but he'll say it sometimes, but sometimes he won't.
Yeah.
He just assumes but like I didn't know he was a robot until like half of the first episode was up.
Yeah, they sort of bury the lead on that with being, because like also the whole one of the whole like running themes with this show is about Gesich like sort of processing like who he is and like what it means to be him. And so when he shows up, to him it's just like, oh, I mean, yeah, I have to tell people that I'm a robot sometimes, but like up until that point, there's nothing about him where you're like, oh, what a fucking robot this guy is.
Well, I mean, I guess, well, not even like he gets tired too.
Yeah.
And that's what the theme of the show is. Like, where's the line between human and robot? And in this universe, there's barely one at all, because they feel pain, they feel emotions except for hatred. They basically like have senses of humor, like they feel sorrow.
Yeah.
It's just that like some robots look more human than others.
Yeah.
And some robots that just look outlandish and like equipment have bodies that they can transfer into when they're not working.
Yeah, which I thought that was a really interesting thing that they were like, oh yeah, this is like my walking around body. And then when I go to work, I just put myself into this big machine instead of like, it's like I unscrew my fucking head and just like shove it inside this big robot. And then I'm the big robot. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Dude, when that happened, when Brando, we'll get to this later, but when Brando and Hercules were talking about their mechs, I thought they just piloted them.
Yeah, with like hands.
No, their heads come off and go inside the fucking the suit.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah,
but like I said, we'll get to that later because these are all characters that are important.
Yeah. So overall, the show, like, very brief synopsis. There is a it's a detective sort of mystery show in which noir, yes, in which like
homage as well.
Yeah. He's Gesich is this like German Europol like top investigator detective, and he's investigating a series of murders against like some humans and some robots, but there's a call sign that's associated with all of them, and so he has to try to figure out who is doing this, like what their aim is, and he finds himself wrapped up inside of the mystery as well, maybe even being a target of said killer. It's very interesting. It's like if you just like detective stories, this is right up your alley. If you like I mentioned, things like Blade Runner, which have a lot of like moral quandaries with like, what is sentience? What does it mean to be alive? This is a perfect show for that.
Because so like I want to say like 5 or 6 episodes in, I thought I knew who the main bad guy was, but then like I was wrong once they revealed it. So like it really keeps you it's not something you can immediately be like, oh, that's the guy.
Oh yeah, that's him.
But it's not. And before we get into it more, Cole, out of 10, what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give it, so I'm not a very hard, it's not very difficult for me to give a 10. Like if I'm really emotionally or like intellectually invested in it, I'll give it a 10, even acknowledging that it has problems, because this show does have problems, and I'll talk about them as well, but I've straight up 10. Like it's rare that nowadays I start watching a show and then every night I'm like, we got to watch more of it. This house still has things that are in boxes. There is furniture to be built. There's stuff to be done in order to like make sure that we're done moving in. And we just threw it all away to watch Pluto every night for 4 nights in a row. And then we were like, wow, amazing.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 10 too, but I think a 9 because there are a few problems.
Sure, yeah.
But
that's fair.
It's still like a recommendable show.
Totally.
I'd recommend anyone to watch, and it's very emotional. There's characters that you like, and then there's like parts that are like very intertwined. Like it's something you got to pay attention to. It's not something you can put on and do something else. You have to pay attention.
Yeah, it's it very much is, and it's not just like and you can't watch it like it's a audio podcast. Like you can't just like have it on in the background and like not watch like there's a lot of visual stuff going on, a lot of sort of cutaways and errors that are happening where you could pick up on something if you're fast enough. It's really good.
Well, sometimes like the art will change.
Yeah.
And it won't, it's not like in the fights or anything. It's more like sometimes like you have the normal art style, but then like there's a close up on them and you can tell that the art has changed when like they're like talking to people and like the way they move sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
But overall, like the first episode threw me because like and this isn't like spoilers, like, you know, Gesek is doing his thing, you know, he found out that uh a doctor had died. He's doing that thing, but then they get a call that some crazy like guy attacked a cop and a robot,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's chasing him, and then like he catches him and knocks him out, and then he's just like, I can't kill you, I'm a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 30 minutes. Each episode's an hour, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, that's 30 minutes of the first episode, but then it immediately cuts to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the second part of the first episode of a blind pianist
Mm-hmm.
Who gets assigned a new butler.
Yeah.
And the tonal shift was like, what the fuck? And I was like, is every episode going to be like this? Because
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't like talk about it ever again.
Yeah.
They just, they needed to shove this character in there to acknowledge who and what he was,
Mm-hmm.
and then never talk about him again. I mean, they bring him up again, but they never like really talk about him again.
Yeah. It's so this author, the author of, so Pluto is based on a manga that came out in 2013, and the author also wrote Monster and 20th Century Boys, among other things. 20th Century Boys is, I think, my single favorite manga. I haven't read a lot of manga, but of the ones that I've read, 20th Century Boys is mind-blowingly good. And this author does that a lot, where, because it's a very typical like manga trope to be like, hey, we're in the middle of this like interesting intrigue, we're just gonna shove you off to a side story for a little bit, and then we'll come back to the main one, and then you'll see how it ties together. And so like that ends up happening a number of times with this story. But the thing is, and the thing that I actually like about that is that whenever the author does choose to do that, he's getting in there deep. It's not like Eiichiro Oda does in One Piece, where he's like, there's a fight going on. There's 4 different fights happening simultaneously. You got to peek in at one, then peek in another, and peek in another. And so like you get enough time to like be emotionally invested, but then Pluto just lets it go on like longer and longer. And you're like, why am I here? And then by the end of one of those offshoots, you're like, oh God, like that was okay. And then it switches back to the main story, and you're like, no, go back. What the fuck happened there?
Well, like the thing is with that, the first episode, like we all knew what happened,
mm-hmm.
but like we don't know why it's important till
Mm-hmm.
later. But like I gotta say, fucking what's his name? Something number 2.
North number 2.
North number 2. God, that was such. If it was just a short film,
mm-hmm.
damn, it was. You go through all the emotions. Like it was very sad
mm-hmm.
and like happy. Man, it's so good.
Yeah, it's extremely good. And in fact, I think just to put a button on the non-spoiler section, we both recommend that you go watch this. Please go watch it. It's extremely good. It's on Netflix. It just came out a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So
8 episodes.
Yeah, 8 episodes. Each episode is 50 to
long.
100 50 minutes to like an hour and 10 minutes or so. Yeah, it's great. You will not be sad about it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not tropey at all. Like, okay, so when I first started watching it, I was just I told Colby, I'm like, is this a fucking Astro Boy dark noir story?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because there are characters that are direct references to Astro Boy.
Oh yeah.
Like directly. There's this character named Adam.
Mm-hmm.
He's just Astro Boy.
Adam is Astro Boy, yeah.
The doctor, I forget his name, the one with the white hair, the bald one.
Yeah, yep.
He's the doctor from Astro Boy. Dr. Tenma, he's the other doctor from Astro Boy.
Yeah.
That's just Astro Boy.
Yeah.
It's just saying, like...
Yeah. Yeah, when Fee first asked that, I mean, the answer is like, yes. Like the manga is based off of like one particular arc in Astro Boy. And it's sort of a reimagining and a retelling of it. Like it's using that original arc as sort of like a jumping off point, and then doing effectively its own thing. I want to see what the differences are. Like I want to see how closely they stuck to the source material, because like whenever you hear about like, oh yeah, they're gonna come out, because like they're about to come out with I think next year, maybe the year after, they're gonna do Harry Potter again, and it's like,
oh,
why?
the show, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's like I don't know why you're gonna be doing that, but if you do it, how is it going to be different? You know,
I am gonna watch. I want to see what they do.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but like, what else could they do?
Yeah, is it just going to be the same thing? Like, which like, I get it if you're like, I want the younger generation to enjoy this, and so like, there's different directorial choices that you make, and like maybe whatever. But like, at its core, I appreciate things that are like this, where it's more of like a visual or like a storytelling remix of the original source material. So like, because Trigun, like the new Trigun, I again did not watch. It's a remix of the original, and I appreciate that more than I do like, oh yeah, we just did it again, but it looks better. Like I don't care that much.
I didn't like the new Trigun. It's not good.
That's fair. I appreciate the spirit though.
I like some of the designs, but they didn't do anything with it. I mean, they did, but people are like, "Oh, it's closer to the manga." The mango.
I love mangoes.
I did not care. I preferred the original because of like the heart, the animation, and like Vash as a character. And in this one, he's just like very, I don't know, sad.
He's a sad boy.
He's a sad boy, and I don't quite like that. So,
gosh.
But if we're talking about comparisons, the new Rurouni Kenshin is going strong.
Oh yeah,
and it follows. It's like doing a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, following the manga.
Nice.
Like directly, as opposed to the original, which deviated for TV, I guess.
Sure, that makes sense.
And the new one's super good.
Good.
So, that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to talk about it for obvious reasons.
That's fair. But like the thing that I like the most about Pluto is I don't know anything about Astro Boy, other than like his design. I've heard the theme song a couple of times. Like I don't know anything about the story or any of that.
I remember watching the 2000 reboot.
Oh yeah.
And that's about it.
Nice. Yeah. So like I watched this and didn't need any additional context. I didn't need any other like this was just great on its own. And I just appreciate that if you don't know that this is an Astro Boy story that's been like sort of redone in a different way, you don't ever need to know that this is an Astro Boy story. Like it's a strong standing piece of media on its own that does not rely on the context of the source material. And I appreciate that. That's cool.
But it's not even just Astro Boy, because like Adam, it doesn't even become like like the main character or important till later. It's all about Gesek. And you spend a lot of time with Gesek, and he is solving the thing. He is going around doing his fucking business. Yeah. He's married. And when I first found out he was married, I was like, people can marry robots?
Yeah.
But his wife is a robot. And I'm like, oh, never mind. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Because they just look human.
Yeah. And this, like, we'll start, like, I'm gonna take off the limiter on spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear spoilers about this, go watch the show. You should watch the show and then come back to this because this is going to be great. Yeah. So like, his wife is like a really interesting character to watch for a lot of reasons. But like one of the coolest things is her sort of I guess like embracing the fact that she does feel a certain way and that she can express herself in a certain way. And what it seems like, especially like young, like the robots that are less advanced but still have like still seem to do stuff like have feelings or grieve.
They even older robots that look like robots can get married and are married.
Yeah, and like there's an interesting line where like one of the robots, like the two robots like are looking at like the corpse of their robot son.
Oh yeah,
and they can hear two humans next door just screaming because they're also
son.
identifying their son, like their human son.
But you know the robots want to like cry, but they can't.
Mm-hmm. And they like they start to say, they're like, yeah, they're awfully loud, aren't they? Like, or they comment on like how expressive of their emotions they are, and both of the robots are just like, I'm also feeling devastated. But they just like, don't know what to do.
Yeah, you can tell that they want to feel like the sadness, but they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because while Gasik is there, he feels the sadness because like the look on his face. He's just it's so fun to watch the show through Gasik's eyes because he treats robots and humans the same.
Yeah.
If there's a robot child and they're in like distress, he treats them as equal. If there's a regular child, he treats them as equal. Like anyone, they are the same. Like no matter what, there's no differences between them for him. And I really like that about him. We should all strive to be like Gasek.
Yeah.
Because like he's the most human, even out of all the other robots that are more advanced than him. He's the most human robot.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And this, like, the whole story is revolving around the fact that like Gasich he's like struggling with the fact almost that he's more than what he's been programmed to be. And it's a hard thing to do because to me it feels like throughout the whole show there's just this really weird disconnect with all of the robots and their interactions with humans, to where the robots are saying like, oh yeah, well, you know, I feel this way or I think like this, but they immediately follow it up with like, well, you know, robots can't lie, or like robots, like, you know, we can't feel anything, but like I'm emulating human sadness. And it almost seems to me like a lot of these like robots, even ones that have like a less advanced AI, what is happening is that they have formed emotions. They like are processing feelings. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to like express this feeling, and they know that it's not okay to do that. Like even if it's a completely legitimate feeling and they recognize that that's the case, they know that robots, like humans especially, are going to be like, well, you can't feel the same things that we do, so it's impossible. And it seems like robots get like 95% of the way to like fully experiencing and being like a sentient being, and then that last 5% they stop themselves to be like, oh no, sorry, I'm a robot, I can't feel that, it's fine, like this is not for me, this is for humans, that's a human thing, I'm not doing that. And it's like,
although some of the robots in the show I feel are just, they do. Yeah. And the show doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah. So in the episode that Fee was talking about in Ep 1, where the robot policeman dies, Gesich goes and talks to the robot policeman's wife. And her reaction initially, especially like right in front of him, is just like, oh, that's so sad that, you know, it like, very robot, like, oh, I'm you know, upset that my husband has passed away. When he comes back with her husband's like memory chip, she's like, oh, thank you so much, this is very kind of you. And she's like, can you like let me look at his like memories
His
and stuff.
last moments.
Yeah, and so he is like, hey, if it's too much, I'm gonna pull it out. And then while she's processing it, she's like, he's like, hey, do you want me to like delete any of your like memories or anything? And she's like, don't delete any of the memories of him. And that's like one of the most tragic things that like that any of the
She's like,
robots in the show says.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to forget all the things that we've done together.
Yeah. And you get to this like, you know, she's now like replaying his memories, and she's like having a visceral reaction to like, oh God, I'm seeing his last moments. This is scary. Why would he do this? And that's where like Gettas gets his first clue about like, you know, what's happening. But the reactions there, it seemed like she is devastated that her husband is gone, but she's not allowed to be. And so she like, even before someone polices her, she's like, oh, I can't feel this way. But then when she's overwhelmed by the information of like taking in the memory chip, all of that stuff comes out without her even thinking about it.
Yeah, because like I feel like she is devastated that she saw it happen, but then like she corrects herself and she's like, well, he wouldn't act like this. So then she looks at it closer, and that's what gives Gesickt his first clue. And it sets him on the path.
Yeah.
And like I said, like it's a very fine, like this is a real good like thought piece of a show.
Yeah.
Of like, because like there's no, I would say racism in the traditional way, like all the humans are cool with each other, but they don't like robots, and everyone's fine with that. Like there's some people who don't like robots.
Yeah.
All humans are fine, but like there is a small sect, just like in regular society, that hates robots.
Yep.
No matter what. There's like robot Nazis or Nazi robot haters.
Yep.
And it's crazy because like, why would they hate robot? They're like, oh, they took our jobs and whatnot, blah blah blah. But like, these robots are like so advanced, they have PTSD. Because like there was I think it was 6 years in the show, or like 8 years in the show, that there was a war called the what was it, the South Asian War, or the Middle Asian War?
Yeah, Central
Asian War. And you know, robots were sent to destroy other robots that were created for mass destruction, and you can see it like in some of the scenes where, you know, they're on the battlefield, some of the main characters, and they have like PTSD over what they've done. Like they're like freaking out. It's so very human.
Yeah. And
even though they are robots and are not supposed to feel human, they are like the most human out of anyone in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's often the point of pieces of media like this, and this does a really good job of also not like, it doesn't hit you over the head with like, oh yeah, these robots can experience feelings and they're more human than human. Like humans are, you know, can be really gross monsters, but robots can be humans too. It's a lot more subtle than that, especially because like they add in stuff like, oh yeah, this person was a robot rights activist. That's how we got like this base set of like laws for robots. And then you hear stuff like, oh yeah, robots are allowed to get married now. Robots are allowed to adopt human children, or they're allowed to adopt like robot children. There's like laws that have been passed. And so you can hear that like society is progressing, but then you also cut to humans that are like cops on the police force, and they're like, what would a robot know about that? What do you want, robot? You don't know jack shit. Get out of here, stupid.
But even like there's some people on the police. It's mostly the older people on the police force that are like that, because some of the younger guys, especially in episode 1, the two that were attacked, the human and the robot, the robot being killed, he didn't refer to him as a robot. He was like, my partner Robbie.
Yeah,
and then he has to correct himself. The constable bot, his name is Robbie, and like they just treat these robots as other people.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Not to mention, like most robots, if all, have actual names.
Yeah.
They're not just units or like numbers. They have names and they're part of society. They live in houses. They're allowed to rent. Like they hold jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one of the craziest things is my wife and I were talking about this cuz like because we were talking about what happens whenever the barrier between humans and robots breaks, right? Like if you get to the point where like because another point in the show is that like there's one robot that ever has killed a human that everybody knows about, and whenever they looked at his AI was fine. He's fine. He's like
he's the Hannibal Lecter of the show.
Yeah, so he's like chained up basically inside of a jail cell. Like his body is like all messed up. He's only got one arm that he can move basically, and he's like impaled with a spear to a big piece of concrete. It's very like Christian metaphor. Like it's a really good thing, but like that guy,
but the way they talk to him is like Hannibal Lecter.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
they go in there and they're like a distance away, so that way he can't reach them.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, I've got these questions, and he's like, oh yeah, robots can't kill humans, right? Wink.
Yeah, fucking Gesicht is the what's her name? Fucking hello, what's
Clarice.
her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Clarice to fucking that guy's Hannibal Lecter.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so like the guy's name, the robot's name is Brow, and Brow's like the only one that people are like, oh yeah, Brow's the only robot that's like ever killed a person, and like they can't. The implication is that happened, and they can't tell anyone that there were no problems with his AI, because if they do, that just means that a robot chose to kill someone, and that's unacceptable. So
they never said not who he killed, but like what he was or what he was doing. Mm-hmm. Like what was his job?
Yeah,
they never said that, right?
Nope, never elaborated.
He's just the robot that killed someone once.
Robot that killed a guy, and I was talking about like what happens when that divide falls, because the more that robots like continue to experience emotion and they're treated like people, eventually something is going to happen in which people, and robots especially, realize, hey, we experience the same range of emotions and feelings that humans do. We just do it differently, and we deserve to be treated the same way. Like, what happens whenever a human can't be like, hey, robot, do this, and then a robot can say no, or like deny a request, or...
Well, that's the thing. We never in the show see people like, hey, robots, do that, unless they're working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the robot already has that job.
Yep.
They're never like, hey, robot, do this for me because I said so.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, dumbass.
Like it's never done. Like no one exploits robots in this universe.
Yeah.
Unless they work for them.
Yeah.
But that not even exploit, because they treat them equally. Mm-hmm. And then like it's even mentioned like taboo that you shouldn't be like, oh, these robot, like talking badly about robots in society is bad, because there's a character later whose wife says something to that nature, and he's just like, hey, keep your voice down, don't say that while there's robots fucking around.
Yeah.
You want to get canceled?
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. It's like, oh, you can't say that out loud because they're, the commission will get you for that. And it's like, okay, yeah, good. Good.
But like you find out that guy's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about his wife though. Like that's iffy. Like maybe he was just the one.
Yeah, it seems like it was probably just him. His wife, because his wife is like, oh, Gesicht is like great and whatever, and I don't know why you hate robots anyway.
Yeah, and dude, like. I really liked her because he was like, it's fucking good that happened. Your brother was a goddamn monster.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he fucking deserved to die. And he's like, but that was my brother.
Yeah. He's like, well, okay, my brother was a monster, but he didn't deserve to, be ruined like that.
And his wife was like, yes, he was.
Yes, he did.
Like it's that fucking quote from Community. She's like, I can excuse this and racism, but I won't excuse that. And the lady's like, you can excuse racism?
Yeah.
It's so like and speaking on that character, I think his character is on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
He is part of the Nazi robot haters, and his name is Adolf.
His name is Adolf. He's got the comb over.
Yeah. Oh my god. This is what I wanted to talk about the most. I was like, that's just fucking Hitler.
It's so on the nose. Like, you know exactly who he's supposed to be. Like, you can't name the man Adolf. You can't, dude.
And the thing is, he doesn't get his comeuppance really.
Mm-hmm.
He learns.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't become a good guy, but he learns the error of his ways.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that was one of the things that was like the most on the nose.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was funny.
The thing is, like, the writer of this series is really good. But there are times where you can tell as a watcher, he's really excited to get to this one idea. And in order to get there, he's like, I don't know. I'm just going to have this person talk about that idea, and then I'm going to show that idea immediately after. So, like, there's a lot of stuff where they're like, oh, yeah. First, out of nowhere, they're just like, oh, well, robots can't lie. Fucking almost immediately after, within 5 minutes, there's another scene in which a robot lies, and they're like, oh, I thought robots couldn't lie. You're like, okay. I got it. I see what you're doing here, but like, and I don't know if it's like different in the manga because like maybe that scene happened. They're like, oh well, yeah, I know that this is true because robots can't lie. And then like a chapter later, like the next week or the next month, they were like, oh, this person just lied to me. Ugh. So like,
and he's a robot.
So maybe it's okay, but like, yeah, this author does do a lot of that. But I think to the benefit of the rest of the plot, where it's like, hey, I'm going to show you that like this person isn't trustworthy. I'm going to show you that this concept exists and immediately apply it because the plot is doing this thing. And the plot is like usually always serviced by that. But every time that it happens, you do very much notice it. You're like, I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to be explained that much. It's fine, dude.
I think he just wanted to. I think he just really wanted to explain it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, if there's anyone out there that enjoys explaining what they do, 20th Century Boys does have that, like, in a lot of places, but it's because the plot is complex, and I feel like it's the same with Pluto, where it's, like, the plot's kind of complex, and, like, you have to keep track of all these characters, and, like, the current state of, like, robot relations or whatever, and so to like
it's not
to throw out something like that is like, all right. But you know who else loves to do that for no fucking reason? And it's the author of Jujutsu Kaisen. Because the amount of times that they're like, well, this person was able to come back because their domain is like this, and the simple domain made by this class, and actually, when you're inside, this negates the one-hit kill effect whenever the domains are crossed. You're like, stop! Like, why do you have so many rules that you need to just explain it to me? Fucking just calm it down, dude.
I think that for that they have to explain it, because if they didn't, people would be like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah, but guess what? Make it simpler then. Just stop.
Look, I think that's the problem with like shonen, is that they try to make these really outlandish, like cool, like powers, but they make it. They're like, well, I got to make it confusing because how else are people gonna like it? Like,
yeah,
they don't make it simple. They have to make it to where they have to, I don't know, get people to fucking theory craft or something.
Yeah,
like they have to be like, well, they're like, can my character defeat Goku? Here's a list of what his powers can and can't do.
Yeah,
like,
here's why this person wins this fight. Oh, they didn't expect this other secret hidden thing that I told you about yesterday. And it's like, okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, so like I that's the problem with like some shonen animes. They can't just be like, his power fucking, I don't know, he's stretchy. Like,
yeah.
It's now like he has the like everybody has curse power and
Mm-hmm.
they can have domains. But this character has like two domains, and this negates that, and this negates that, and this slows that. I don't know, man. I gotta catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen. It's all confusing when
Mm-hmm.
animes have like this weird power system,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why I like Pluto, because there's like they're not worried about like who's the strongest. So
Mm-hmm.
like the story in Pluto, there are seven masterclass AI robots
Mm-hmm.
made by like seven master scientists,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't even talk about this.
Yeah, no.
uh, the story is there's this one uh killer that first they thought was a human, but is a robot. He is killing humans and he's killing robots. And it's kept under wraps because they don't want people knowing that a robot is killing humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
they
thing is, they're not positive that it's a robot doing it. They're like, well, it couldn't be a robot doing it because robots don't kill people. And Gesich is like, this looks like a fucking robot is doing this, actually.
yeah, no shit. And like what's it called? They immediately like they name him. They're like, "Oh, this horn formation is like the what is it? The Greek god Pluto."
Yeah.
And it turns out that that was his name fucking
Yeah.
all along.
Yeah. That's one of those things where you're like, okay. All right.
Like, hey, come on, man. But here's the thing: they learned that from Hannibal Lecter, from Brow,
Mm-hmm.
and Brow knows more. Probably already knows from the beginning who it is,
Yeah.
because he's linked into the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
What like he knows what's going on outside of his cell at all
Mm-hmm.
times.
Yeah, it's like, and he's not the only one that displays that either. So like, basically, robots can like talk to each other in their brains because it's fine. But like, in addition to being able to do that, there's characters like Adam's little sister that's like, oh, I'm feeling this strong emotion somewhere far away. Um,
Yeah.
and it's not explained why she can do that, and it feels like it's probably the same for Brow, because Brow says like, oh yeah, whenever this thing happened, everybody who is even a little aware of themselves like was able to hear and experience that weird electromagnetic wave,
Yeah.
and be able to interpret it. So it's like, oh, okay.
I think because Brow had become like self-aware and murdered people, maybe it led him be open to everyone. Like he could just feel everyone from that point on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
But like then again, it could always just be like, oh, he's the exposition robot. He just knows everything,
Yeah.
and that's fine. They don't really go to him for a lot of stuff. They only go to him when they collect enough evidence, and they're like, I think it's this, and he's like, oh, but is it? Yeah, it
Mhm.
is. And then, like then they go like onto the thing. So we have seven robots: Gesickt, uh, it, Epsilon,
Mhm.
Brando,
Yep.
Hercules,
Mhm.
Adam,
Yep.
um, oh, the big guy. What's his name? Frodo?
Mont
The
Blanc.
Mont Blanc. I was
Mhm.
close. And
And North number 2.
North number two. And those are the seven like robots that that Pluto is trying to destroy.
Mhm.
Uh, I guess for I don't know why he's trying to destroy them.
Mhm.
Is this a spoiler? I'm gonna say spoiler like anyway when he's trying to kill everyone anyway.
Yeah.
So he's trying to like all I guess so they won't stop him from doing it.
Yeah.
So okay, so like he's trying to kill all the scientists and all the top robots,
Mhm.
so like he could destroy everyone and no one will stop him.
Mhm.
And that's the story. And the story is trying to figure out who he is, uh, why is he doing this, and how is he going to do it? Or, I guess, why is he killing the robots? Because they don't know his master plan until later.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a connection between the robots and the humans that are being killed. Um basically this war, this like the 39th Central Asia conflict is the name of the thing. This war was basically started because there was a rumor that that Persia, just straight up Persia, was making these robots of mass destruction. You could tell when this was written. You could tell when this was written, baby.
Yeah, you could tell when it was written.
So
they're making
these robots of mass destruction, right? And so this commission called the Bora Commission went to go look at it, and they didn't find anything. All they found was a big, like a big empty room full of robot corpses, and they were like, well, that's weird. And they were like, yeah, it's a bunch of robots that didn't work. And they were like, oh, okay.
That's weird. We better not look into it anymore.
Yeah, let's not think about it.
You son of a bitch.
And then the Bora Commission basically came back and was like, yep, we didn't find anything except for this. And then the United States of Thracia was like...
wasn't it Frisia?
It's Thracia. So it could be Thracia.
I thought they were saying Frisia.
No, it's with the TH. The United States of Frasier would be hilarious though.
Oh baby, I hear the robots call.
God. They're like sipping espresso. Maybe perhaps we should commit a genocide today, Niles.
I don't know. That didn't work out for the Hong Dynasty. Like, I don't know. I don't get. I'm definitely the grandpa in that scenario. I don't get that smart talk.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, basically, United States of America is like, yeah, but we're pretty sure that building robots of mass destruction, we're just gonna fucking absolutely annihilate Persia. And so like a giant war breaks out. It's robot versus robot and human versus robot, and they just demolish Persia. Absolutely raze the whole country to the ground, basically.
Did Persia even have a human army? Like,
good question. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know.
No,
it's unclear.
It was all robots.
We only saw robots. We did only see robots. So who knows?
They were all Danger Will Robinson. They were like the Zakus.
Yeah, exactly. There's a shit ton of them too. But yeah, like this war kicks off, and so that like all the humans that are being killed are from the Bora Commission, which is like one of the things that they tie back, and they're like, okay, so this is like something to do with Persia, something to do with like, and these like 7 really strong robots are to be like are part of this. How are they part of it? And it turns out all of them were in the war except for one, kind of two.
Well, 2. I would say Adam wasn't part. He was just basically like he was the ambassador.
Yeah, so Adam got the good job.
But he didn't want that job.
Yeah.
He was all pissed off about it. He's like, I didn't want to be a celebrity going in there. I wanted to help. Yeah. And like everyone treated him like he was fucking Michael Jackson going into a live war zone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I didn't want that.
That was fucked up. I didn't like that.
And then I don't know how he did it, but like they created Epsilon. He was like, I'm not going to fight. Fuck y'all. Yeah. And he just...
Epsilon's like, I'm not going to do it. And they're like, what? Hey, bitch, what? What do you mean you're not going to do it? You're a robot. And he's like, yeah, I'm a pacifist robot. I ain't doing shit. I don't even have combat capabilities programmed into me. And they're like,
fucking
damn.
Liar. Epsilon, the strongest robot on Earth.
Yeah.
Fucking Epsilon, like, man, he is basically no one until the end.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of character. He is so good.
Yeah.
And Adam too. We don't spend that much time with him until the goddamn end.
Yeah, and he, like, to be fair, like, we see that Adam can imitate humans really, really well, and Gessie's just like, oh well, his AI is so advanced that like he's imitating humans. And he asks him, he's like, is that food like you're really convincing me that food is yummy? Like, is that food good? And he's like, I think so. And it's like, sorry, what? Like,
Yeah.
just say yes, it is. It is good.
Yeah.
And he's like, even well, Adam is struggling. He's like, I'm a robot. I can't be experiencing that this food tastes good because I am a robot, so I guess it tastes good. I don't really know what's happening here, though.
Yeah, and then he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, you are taking on human traits. It'd be weird if you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough.
I'm like, that's not a good explanation. But then he just goes to the bathroom to cry.
Yeah.
Which is also weird.
Like, episode 2, you're already like, something's fucking happening. Like, these robots are not like the robots we know about.
It's just, man, it's, I love that we spend all our time with Gesickt. Mm-hmm. It's just, oh man, I can't talk about it.
It's so good. In the course of like of all of these like murders and stuff that's going on, like you get to know each one of these robots, and they all have like their own like personality, and they've built a life for themselves. And like to the audience, it seems almost obvious that like the line between robot and human is effectively non-existent, because the only thing that's different is they're treated differently by like by humans sometimes, not even all the time, like, and not even most of the time, just sometimes. Yeah. And that they also have that one weird thing, like, I don't know about you, there's every once in a while, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast or not, because this is like a really fucked up and weird thing about me. Every once in a while, I have an idea in my brain, and I'm trying to train myself to try this idea fast enough that my brain doesn't catch up to the fact that it should be impossible, because if I'm able to do it, that proves that we're living in a simulation and I've broken the rules that have been programmed into me. And that's a fucking stupid thing. And it often comes up when I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm like, God, I wish I had some more time to go to sleep. Let me press the button that stops time, and then I'll just go to sleep for a while, and I'll just fucking hit something on the wall, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, damn, I must have realized the button's not there. My brain stopped it, but it would have been there if my brain didn't make it not be there.
It would have been cool if my stupid human brain didn't make it so fucking...
And so, like...
No, I don't think you've talked about it.
Yeah, similar thing with these robots where it's like, if their programming didn't tell them you can't be doing so, like, it feels like all these robots know, like, inherently, in the same way that like a human can feel danger, or you can feel that something is true, you can feel like hungry or scared or cold or whatever, like you know that that's true, and then your brain can either like interpret that or be like, oh, actually that's like different, or like you're not actually feeling you're not feeling cold, you're feeling wet, and the wet is making you cold, so if you dry off, it's fine, right? Like one of those things where like these robots are like, I'm experiencing this, I feel like I need to do this, I'm sad, I'm happy, but then their stupid robot brain is like, hey, you're a robot, you can't do that, and they're like, oh right, never mind, shove that away.
They always forget the robot protocol until like it actually matters. But like Gesickt is walking that line.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole time, he's like doing shit that robots really shouldn't be doing, and like he always catches himself like right at the end, especially once he meets Adolf.
Yeah. He's it just keeps he keeps getting more and more human, and it's more and more apparent that he is like his own person as the series goes on. He's having nightmares, and
he's having you realize robots can have dreams in this world.
He's having nightmares, and he's not even like the person who made him. He's not even telling him what the nightmares are. He's like, I don't feel comfortable sharing what these nightmares are, which is very human.
Fucking he's just a person with like mental blockers at this point. It's just that like I don't know, man, like Gesickt is so good. He's the best character in the show. but like the other characters are so stand out and fleshed out in the small time that we see them.
Yeah.
Uh, Besides Adam, Adam is probably like the weakest character.
Yeah, I will say that like the time that you spend with Adam in like episode 7 and 8, it like really fleshes him out more as a character, but you never really get that sort of like background family connection. Like a lot of other characters have these moments, and especially
Yeah,
this
I
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say like Adam at the last few episodes just full on Astro Boy,
Yeah.
and at that point you're like, I don't really care. I've come to care about Gasik and Brando and Hercules and Epsilon.
Yeah.
Hell, I care more about Mont Blanc than I do about Adam.
Yeah, and he never spoke a line of dialogue in current time. In flashbacks, yes, but
in flashbacks, yes, everyone cared about him. Like we all like care about them more, especially Brando and Epsilon, because they have kids.
Yes, they have kids, and the kids care about them. Like it's not even it's not even that like. Because even if you wanted to go into this, you wanted to be like, well, robots can't feel anything, so they can't feel like they're attached to these children. You can see that these human children are very much attached to their like parent, their guardian.
Yeah, and then you find out that the robots are really attached to the kids.
Yeah,
because like I can't go into it like without spoiling anything, and I really don't want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here where like. There's so many cool things that we don't want to give away everything, but like getting into some of the plot on like how things are unraveling, pretty interesting. So I actually looked up while we were talking, I looked up the Astro Boy story, and it's called The Greatest Robot on Earth.
All right,
and it does more or less sort of follow the plot of Pluto, basically. Like like this guy who is like in control, the Sultan of of whatever, builds Pluto, and then Pluto has to go fight all the other robots to prove that he's king robot, basically.
It's so funny because Pluto's design in the show harkens very much to like the Astro Boy designs.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I know what he looks like in the story. It looks like a robot from that era.
Yeah, it does. Like sort of Gundam in that it's got horns, it's got like the shoulder pauldrons, and it's really, really cool. Especially because like in the first, you don't even see what what he looks like
until episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Go on.
Oh God. Yeah, like there's so many cool things about this. This actually made me remember the second Blade Runner movie came out. Blade Runner 2049, I think.
Maybe.
And it's let me make sure. I'm pretty sure it is. It's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it.
I've never seen it.
It's did you see Dune?
No.
Okay.
The new one?
Yeah, the new one.
No.
Okay, so the new Dune, directed by the same person. Both of these movies have a lot of stuff in them where it's like effectively nothing is happening for 5 minutes at a time. It's just quiet, ambient.
Hell.
You just like are looking at like a scene is unfolding, or like, you know, some dialogue is being shared, but like there's not a lot of action, a lot of like big wide shots, and really, really cool stuff. But yeah, it is one of those things where when somebody's like, it was boring, I'm like, yeah, I could see where you would think that, but I don't. I really enjoy shit like that.
I was just about to say, I'm like, they looked really boring from the trailers.
Yeah, I figured you were probably one of the people that's like, yeah, I don't know, that's not for me, which is fair.
Listen, like, there's some shows some movies that can do that, and I'll be fine watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, there's some other ones where I'm just like, I don't know about that.
So, for Blade Runner 2049, spoilers for Blade Runner 2049. Like you're the main character that you're following around is a replicant. And one of the plots of like the original is like, oh yeah, we like made these like we made these things that are kind of like humans, but they're genetically modified to kind of be robots, but kind of not. And a lot of it was like, they're not listening to humans. They're not like, they've like grown their own consciousness or whatever. They have their own feelings. And there's the thing that I found interesting about 2049 is that the replicant that we're following, fucking Ryan Gosling, the hottest man on earth.
He
yes. He goes back to his apartment, and they're like, he has an AI girlfriend. And
oh yeah,
like,
isn't the AI girlfriend just the same, like used for a couple of things?
I think
isn't
so.
Isn't that where the meme comes from?
The big pink one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like,
fucking, he's just looking sad.
Yeah, he's looking sad and defeated. It's a great scene. Ah, man, I love that movie. But like in this movie, there's a part toward the end where like he has to sort of make a choice about his girlfriend, and he's unsure of like, am I sentient? Do I have these human memories? Am I becoming human? Am I like a, sort of a first class citizen, like a human now? And then he has this robot girlfriend that he's very clearly in love with, and he is having a tough choice. Like there's a choice where he has to like deactivate her or like stop her or like effectively kill her. And he has a really big moral quandary with like doing it. And I remember after watching that with my wife, I was talking about like, I really liked that his girlfriend was like sentient basically. And my wife was like, she wasn't sentient. She was a program. She was a hologram program. And I was like, okay, but the relationship was real to Ryan Gosling. Like everything about that relationship was real to him. So like, how does that make her, right? Like, how does it make, how does this make any sense as far as this goes? Like, does it matter that you could argue that this is just like not,
maybe
that, like,
it was all
this
in his
person's not
mind.
real? Yeah. And here's the thing. What if if cyborgs, if robots can evolve feelings, why can't a hologram? They're just made out of software. One of them just has a human body. So like,
it's just an AI, but with a hologram body.
And it like 2049 introduces like Blade Runner, the original one is like, oh, here's humans, and then there's like replicants, which are right below them, but they're not quite humans. They can't quite experience the same feelings. They're under total control, whatever. And then 2049 introduces, there's a level like below that, which is like, there's these like AI, like software girlfriend things. And it's like, well, they're definitely below replicants, but like, can they rise to the level of replicant? Can they rise to the level of human? And that's one of the things that I really liked about Pluto is, it almost throws away the question of like, how do you test for sentience? Does it like, it almost throws away everything, because it starts off with like, robots have rights, robots can get married, robots can have families, robots have jobs and rent and like whatever. Like they're not just purpose built to stay in a factory. They have a home. And so
they have a life.
They have a life that they've built. They've built a life for themselves. And so it's like, they're sentient.
The thing that they explained, and I don't know if it's for every robot, but they implant a robot with a personality of someone on Earth. Not like their personality, but like a type of personality.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the robot becomes what their personality trait is given into them, but they also, I guess, become their own person.
Yeah. I think it's like they're programmed, like the AI is programmed to to effectively like take on the patterns of like a reasonable person, I guess. Like it's not like they selected this guy and this guy is the archetype for all these personalities. It's like the AI is written in such a way that like it would mimic the same sort of decisions that a reasonable person would make. But it's not one to one with like this person exists, I've coded all of their stuff, but it kind of is for some of the more advanced robots.
But like they never explain, do they ever stop making the robots? Like what's the limit for robots they make? Because there's like robots and humans in society, but they never say if like they're manufacturing these robots like in a big factory like every day, or like are they just manufacturing them when they need them? Or they're just like, there's not that many robots out, we should put out some more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, are people purchasing the robots? Like, yeah, that's another interesting thing, especially about the fact that they have, the fact that like robots have homes, to me means that it's not like a company says, oh, I need to purchase this robot to like work in my factory and do this job. It's like
they hire them.
They hire them. So they must have been created before that.
Because North Number 2 was a battlefield robot, but I guess he was working for a hiring agency and became a butler.
Yeah, correct.
And then like, so the robots they create, I guess they're like, okay, you could do the job that you were like designated to do, and go see who's gonna hire you. And then when they hired, like they get a salary, and then they just live, right? They have their life. They have to pay rent. And they have to like live in their house. Like they don't go to work and stay there like RoboCop. They go to work and then they go home and choose to have a wife or not, or choose to have kids.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they can go on vacation because
they can go on fucking vacation.
Gesicht has leave time. He's like, I'm going on leave. I'm going on vacation. And he goes on fucking vacation.
Yeah,
why would a robot need vacation?
Yeah, and he's talking to his creator, and his creator is like, well, you know, your AI is so advanced that like we can't predict what what things, like what mental faculties you need, and what like how your body is going to react to like whatever. Like mental fatigue is a real thing, and we don't know how it manifests in robots, but there's some like science to suggest that like when you go on vacation, that can help alleviate some of like the mental fatigue. And again, this is one of those things where like, if you just ask the question, how the fuck does a robot get mental fatigue? Like you have to, it's so close. You're so close to just like getting to the bottom of the question, which is like, okay, how can a robot get mental fatigue? It's because they're like humans. Maybe we should treat them like humans. Maybe they're like humans. Maybe they're sentient. Like, you're so close.
Yeah, they like, because they can die, and no one says when a robot dies, they're not like, oh well, he got destroyed or he went out. They say these robots died. They died.
Yeah, well,
they acknowledge that they die.
There is one scene,
the Nazi robot haters.
There is one scene in which like a robot, in which like a robot is killed, and they say like, oh yeah, this robot was killed, and then they stop themselves and correct to destroyed. This robot was destroyed, and but I thought that was funny.
Even the people in this universe are forgetting that, like they know that robots act so human-like that they're forgetting to use robot terms for them.
Yes.
And why would you? If you've come to know this robot for so long and you treat him like a person, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Why would he be destroyed? Like if robots can be destroyed and then just brought back and everything is fine, then why would they not do that? They're not doing that. They once they die, they die. They're not bringing them back.
Yeah.
And you would think because robots like have parts and stuff they can get fixed, they just don't.
Yeah, the one thing that they talk about with AI, and like whenever a robot is like, their AI is deactivated, they say that like you can fix them, you can bring them back online, but they're not the same robot. Like once you tamper around with like their like robot artificial brain connections and like you do stuff with their memories, they're a different robot afterward. And that's interesting to me as well because, okay, this is maybe the dumbest thing because my wife made fun of me forever for this. Because I think this is very much the same case as the nobodies in Kingdom Hearts 2, in which the nobodies are like, we don't have hearts. We just remember what it's like to have hearts. Like that's, and they're lying to themselves to convince themselves that they're not like sentient beings that have a choice in the matter. They're like the concept of a heart in Kingdom Hearts is nebulous, and nobodies almost certainly have hearts, but they just think that they don't because of the nature of how they were created, I guess. Like you could grow a heart, I guess. And I feel like it's the same thing with this.
Are we talking about the organization nobodies?
Yes, the organization, not the grunts. Grunts don't mean shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like the nobodies are like, we don't feel emotion, but they obviously do.
Of course they do. Dipshits.
Idiots. God.
So sick of their dumb bullshit when they're like, we're trying to get our own hearts by making Kingdom Hearts. Shut up. You already have one.
This would make me real sad if I could feel sadness.
Yeah, but I can't. Oh, how quaint your feel. Don't look at me.
Fucking hate that shit.
Axel's like, I want to get ice cream.
He's like, I want to get ice cream. What's his stupid like? Got that memorized?
Got it memorized.
God, I fucking love Axel. Axel for life, baby. Leah, or whatever his name is, Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, Pluto, such a good show. Go watch it. Like,
yeah,
drop what you're doing and go watch it.
Yeah, go do it. Like it raises a lot of really fun questions about like robots and sentience and what it means to be considered to be sort of a first-class citizen. It's like, it's great. And on top of that, it's a great detective show.
It'll make you sad.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we all need to be sad sometimes.
Yeah.
But like,
of course.
Man, I'm gonna see what the contenders for like anime of the year is, and like Pluto's like really up there.
Yeah, same for me. I like, again, obviously I don't have a lot of anime that it could be, but damn,
I've been it's either Pluto or it's fucking Isekai vending machine.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you know what? They're the same caliber. I'm just kidding.
They're right up there. They're right there together for sure.
So yeah, this was a very one thing centric podcast episode.
Yeah, and in fact, you know what? Just to tease you a little bit, because Fee, you haven't read 20th Century Boys, have you?
I have not.
Okay.
Nor have I read Monster.
So there's Monster has an anime. 20th Century Boys does not. It has 3 live action movies, which are fine. But the manga is great. And let me tell you what the plot of the manga is. And, just like, maybe go read it one day.
Is it about boys in the 21st century?
Yes. Well, 20th century.
That's what I said.
So the plot of this is you follow around just a regular guy who has no connections to, like, he's just a deadbeat dude.
All right.
And there's like a class reunion. And then he realizes that there is a couple of things that are happening. One is this stuff starts happening that him and his friends wrote a book of prophecies about when they were kids. Like, they're just fucking around being kids and coming up with like dumb stories to like, have fun and like play with.
All right.
And one of them is like, there's like a disease. There's like this airport gets blown up by terrorists or whatever.
All right.
And he realizes that's starting to happen. Someone is making it come true. and he recognizes that, his friends recognize that, and they have to try to find out who in their old friends group knew about the Book of Prophecies. Why are they doing it? There's this cult around this guy named Friend, and Friend is the one that's like the architect of all this. So they're trying to find out who's Friend, where's the Book of Prophecies, what did we write, what's the next thing that's going to happen, and how do we stop it? And it's a really, really fucking good story. It's also like a detective thing where you're like, okay, we think we may have found out this. Oh shit, what about, there's this other thing. Oh, we found out that like here's gonna be the next attack. Oh shit, it's gonna be happening right now. And yeah, it's really good. You should do that.
Cool. I feel like I want to buy Pluto, the manga Pluto.
Yeah.
Just so I could have it.
Dude, the intro to the anime has panels from the manga. Looks fucking good.
I know, it looks good. I googled it and I was like, man, this looks really good.
Yeah.
So I definitely want. It'll look great on my shelf.
Yeah. Listen, you should, if you like, since you spend a lot of time at work and you've got like anime to watch, maybe you just get some manga on your fucking computer and just fucking bang it out.
Ugh, gross. Fucking manga on a screen.
Yeah.
Gotta hold a book, baby.
Yeah, but that's expensive. I ain't doing that.
I mean, you can do that for me for Christmas.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. 20th Century Boys. How many volumes of 20th Century Boys are there?
A lot. Well, I want Pluto though.
22 volumes of 20th Century Boys.
How many volumes
Pluto manga
of Pluto?
8.
8 Takoban volumes. If it's in English, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think I think my wife actually looked this up, and it is like one episode of the anime is like one volume of the manga.
Ah, dude, that means I want to get like the Scott Pilgrim version, like the hardcover of like Pluto's if they have them.
Yeah,
for sure, I want to get that.
Hell yeah.
I got to see about how much they cost and see about getting them. Because it's such a good show. Like I really want it. Fuck, I want to see if they have a Gesicht like figure because I kind of want one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was today's episode. We're already at time, and we're in the month of November, so maybe we'll have some November themed stuff coming up.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about Pluto because that's a good show, and
you may listen to us talk about mashed potatoes for a long time later on this month, but for today, go watch Pluto.
And we ain't talking about Disney Mickey Mouse Pluto.
Yeah,
talking about anime Pluto.
That Pluto's a bitch.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I heard he ate Mickey Mouse's ass once.
Yeah, I heard he's a shitter. He's a real shitter. I heard he's racist.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yep.
I heard
it. I saw it on the internet.
I seen it once. I if you've seen him stream anytime, he has the what's it called? The Iron Eagle on his back.
Yeah, so he's got it. It's crazy.
Racist. All the characters are Donald would probably be the racist one.
Like he's already got some stuff, about whenever he was they were like, oh, this will be like a fun thing to do. We're gonna make fun of the Nazis using him, and that'll be okay. And then without the context, you're like, yo, was Donald a fucking Nazi? Excuse me.
Yeah, was he a racist? Is he a racist?
Just a quick question. Is he? You know.
But yeah, he might be. I've seen him hold his hand up in a way I didn't like.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So this month is November. I'm gonna look up some fun November themed topics, and we'll see if anything cool comes out this month, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But we are a variety podcast. We talk about anime and movies and shit, but we like to have fun, so we'll see.
Yeah. Listen, and just follow us.
Just follow us and like us and subscribe us. Kobe, tell them.
Yeah, listen, hey, If you're not watching this live, what the fuck are you doing? Go to our twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. If you follow us, you'll get a notification whenever we go live to record this. We go live anytime between 1 and 0, and 2 times a week. Because there are some weeks where we can't. So yeah, just come follow, listen live. If you can't, I get it. You're inferior, and that's okay. You can listen to it. The whole replay of this is going to be on YouTube. It comes out the same day as the audio podcast. It comes out at 2 p.m. Central. And if you are just an audio person, you can just listen to us 5 a.m. on Wednesdays. So it'll be right in your podcast feed. That way you can listen to it on your way to wherever you go in the morning. Hell?
Sunday school.
Yeah, Sunday school.
On Wednesday. Well, I guess there's Wednesday school. Hell probably is better.
Yeah. Listen, it's for sure more fun. So do that, and you can also check out our shorts on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Where
I'm wearing them.
We're doing it. We're posting them pretty often, and they're hella good. They're
way good. You like snails?
Yeah.
There's a TikTok about that.
We got some shit up there for you. You specifically.
On your page, on your For You page.
Yeah.
For you.
On your
the people. The Fweep.
Yeah. That's what it's called, right? Fweep.
The people. TikTok. It's me, Bane. I like what's a TikTok dance? I'd like to do the elbow shake.
Teach me how to Dougie.
Everybody loves me. God, it's so stupid. I hate you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a hard look at your life.
This is going to be hard.
And it's going to be hard. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and look into your eyes and ask yourself, am I a robot? And then I want you to go ask everyone around you, all your loved ones, ask them, are they robots?
Yep.
And then when they tell you that they're not, I want you to find out that they're lying. And then I want you to look for the answer, seek it out. And then when you find it, I want you to go get him.
Go get him! It's going to be a tall order. No one can truly know whether or not they're a robot. It's true.
It's true. I'm a robot. Or am I?
I may be.
I might be.
There's times where I think about like, oh, wow, I really did not react in that situation. I may be a robot. Who knows?
Or a sociopath.
Yeah. Listen, we don't judge. We
do judge, but I mean, not vocally. If I was a robot, I'd give myself a big robot schlong. And that's what it boils down to. If I had, if I was a robot, why wouldn't I?
I mean, I guess you're right. I guess if you are a robot, you become cognizant, you have a job, you have some extra cash, I get the dick upgrade, I guess.
It only costs a little bit, and you don't need to spend money on food. You don't need to eat.
Yeah, what are you doing with that? You don't need to go on vacation. Why do robots need vacation? What you need is a huge wing wang
for your robot wife.
Yeah,
or else you'll be because if you have a small robot Johnson, you'll become a robot cuck.
Yeah, nobody listen. There's no sadder cuck than a robot cuck. I've always said that. My grandfather used to say that to me when I was going to sleep, and now I really understand what he means.
I get it now. Fucking eyes wide open, sweating. I get it now. Oh, that's what he meant. It's all a blow.
Bye.
Later.